All right, we are live. 7 Days Media Football Show, Week 7. Casino, how are we doing?
Well, I'm in college football mode. Been looking at these quarterbacks, trying
You're
to see
waiting for
who
the
the Jets
Arkansas
could
game.
draft, and it's just how it goes.
You're waiting for the Arkansas game, correct?
I'm waiting for the Arkansas game because I like Arkansas this year. I
Yes,
need
go
to
ahead. You're watching the
do one of
quarterback from
these.
Arkansas?
I'm watching. There's really no good games on.
All right. Couple things we have here, and then we'll get into the games.
What the fuck?
I don't know
Hold on.
what the fuck.
I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
No. You're unfrozen. You're unfrozen.
Oh, I'm good. All right. Never mind.
Yeah. A couple things. I got 3 things on the docket before we get to the Sunday slate. I'm limiting Jets talk to 5 minutes.
Let's not even talk about them.
All right.
Talk about every other team.
Even better. Let's start with Thursday Night Football. Flacco gets traded to the Bengals. Mike Tomlin shit talks it, and then they beat Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. How much of that game were you able to watch?
I watched the entire game. Just look again, 2 quarterbacks that weren't good enough to play for the Jets. Just battling it out. 8 touchdowns, I think, total. You can't. It's just unbelievable. Everything comes back to the Jets' ineptitude. Now, the Aaron Rodgers is a fucking maniac. Joe Flacco is a maniac. These guys learned how to play quarterback when that was a real position. Now it's just fucking, it's
they were developed.
One read and run now.
They were developed.
None of these guys are developed. Jared Goff is a developed quarterback, and you get like one guy every 4 years that develops.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Josh Allen's developed into like a real quarterback that can play at 40 years old. Like, can Josh Allen do what Joe Flacco did last night?
We lost Vicino. That's a good question. I guess we'd have to see it. We'd have to see it in whatever 15 years, 14 years or so. Whenever Allen's that age. I mean, what doesn't? Damn, good Wi-Fi, Vicino. I mean, Allen likes to run around, so that's going to hinder him. I mean, that's going to hinder a lot of these guys as they get older. They're going to have to redefine an aspect of their game, whether you're talking Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray. We'll see how long that career in the NFL lasts. It is interesting to see, though. I mean, Flacco comes in, he gets traded for whatever, a swap of day 3 picks, and he's got essentially 2 days to prepare. They were down in that game, and the Bengals come right back and win. It was insane. And then obviously you had those bad looks from Rodgers. I'm sure that we've all seen, where whatever it was, right, his left tackle jumps on his back while they're celebrating, and he goes off on him. I mean, that's typical Aaron Rodgers. But I think if it's anything, what you could say about that game is Cincinnati's season is still alive, right? Down in the dumps, they're 2-4. They start the season 2-0. They have 4 straight losses after the Joe Burrow injury. They trade for Joe Flacco, and they're able to resurrect their season. Now, how long this can last, time will tell. I mean, we've seen Flacco do it, 2 years ago, right? It was 2023 with the Browns, resurrected that season, brought that Browns team to the playoffs, essentially became a Browns legend for it. So, this Burrow injury was going to keep him sidelined for 3 months. Happened in week 2, week 3, and was supposed to keep him sidelined to the middle of December. There's an argument to be made that the Bengals are a 500 team, a game up, a game below 500 come December, and Burrow's ready to come back. Well, now Flacco would, he's now a Cincinnati legend for resurrecting that season if that were to come, if that were to happen. So, what the main takeaway from this game was that this was a missed opportunity by Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh got a little too comfortable, got a little too cocky, saw the Lamar injury, saw the Browns' ineptitude, saw the Bengals' ineptitude around Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Higgins, and they got comfortable, and they paid for it. And complacency is the devil. Is the devil of any trade. It's the devil of any sport. You can never get complacent in this league because at the end of the day, that's 53 guys dressed on the other sideline that are paid to do this job. Those guys are professionals too. Those guys want to win too. Those guys all have incentives in their contracts to play a certain amount of games, to score a certain amount of points, to hit enough stats, and their paycheck gets a little bigger. So, and like this is, Zach Taylor is a guy that I think NFL circles people have been questioning. Is this guy really any good? Is it all Joe Burrow? And so there was a lot kind of going on that Cincinnati sideline. Good for them to fight back. Good for them to keep their season alive. I think the AFC is weak enough that if the Bengals can keep themselves at 500 by the time Joe Burrow's back, they'll be in the playoffs and they will be a threat to other people in the playoffs. I still think by default, the Steelers will win this division. I think that there's just if Lamar is going to be out for any extended and now let's see because Lamar's injury was 3 to 6 weeks. Where I think we're coming up on the third week now. So let's see if they rush him back. I really hope they don't. I don't want to see Lamar kind of go through, and I know it was a different injury, but we saw this with RG3. We saw how rushing him back killed his career. I just don't want to. I don't want to see Lamar 3 years from now be affected by rushing back from an injury in a potentially lost season. So, but what this tells us in terms of the trade deadline in the next 2.5, 3 weeks is that Trey Hendrickson's probably off the board. I mean, I would say if the Bengals win one more game, Trey Hendrickson's not getting moved. And that sucks in a sense for the Bengals' future because you're going to kind of keep this thing together for a shot at the playoffs, to maybe win a playoff game, to maybe get hot in December. I just don't see it. I think they would be better off trading for Trey Hendrickson, but let's be honest here. If they're 5-4, if they're 5-6 at that deadline, they're not trading him. They're going to hang on to him. And, they're going to get nothing for it. They'll get a compensatory third rounder in 2 years when they probably could have gotten multiple day 2 picks for Trey Hendrickson and made themselves better next year. But this is the NFL. So good for the Bengals. Like, if you could say anything to that, good for the Bengals. Way to keep your season alive. And Mike Tomlin, as great a coach as he is, the Steelers, as great an organization as they are, this complacency kills them. And, this is the same type of Steelers team that we see come January every year that gets complacent and is out in the first round of the playoffs. And it honestly, it brings me all right back to what I said last year. And I don't know if you were on this stream or not, Pacino, but I know Jerry and Bass were not okay with it. They really should explore trading TJ Watt because the Steelers team is just not good. They're not that good. Like they're all right in a bad AFC, but you don't trust them against the Bills. You don't trust them against a healthy Lamar. That. So what are we really doing here? You're in purgatory. You know what I mean?
Well, my computer died. It's unbelievable.
Of course.
My charger's not powerful enough. I have to use a MacBook charger on the Windows computer. It's ridiculous. But no, I don't know, man. I don't think you can trade a guy like TJ Watt for the locker room. I think you just have to win. I think you just have to get better players, hit in the draft. Don't bring in 30-year-old Jalen Ramsey to play corner and then listen to him. The guy's obvious. dude, that player is a free safety. That's what he is. He's a safety. So what are you doing letting him guard Jamar Chase at any point in that game? He
Bring
can
the mic a little
never
closer,
guard. Huh?
Bring the mic. Yeah.
He can never guard Jamar Chase. You knew that in the first quarter, and then you let him do it all game. So I thought it was obviously bad coaching, and then it's also it's not that it's bad players. It's just out of position players and bad coaching. And Tomlin should be better than that. You can't and obviously Jamar Chase is going to do it to anybody, but you put two guys on Jamar Chase. Jalen Ramsey should be the guy over the top of Jamar Chase, not the guy trailing him, because he's never going to be able to catch him. He's never going to be able to play underneath Jamar. So they learned the hard way, and I don't know what the Steelers are going to do. I do know that they're all in, and they're probably going to go all in again with Rodgers next year. Because he's going to throw 35 to 40 touchdowns this year, and he's not going to retire, and they're not going to have a better option than him.
No.
And they're going to have to make the decision: do we draft a quarterback and let him sit? And if they don't, they draft a receiver or a D-back and try to go all in.
Just imagine you're the Steelers here, and I know you just can't do it strictly just like from a season ticket standpoint, from a locker room standpoint. I get all that, but like as an organization, you've got what's the D tackle there? Cam Hayward. This guy's old and gray at this point. I mean, he's still got something left, right? But he's not a guy you're building around. TJ Watt is 31 years old. He's only getting older. This guy's had a bunch of injuries. And then instead of, like bringing in DK Metcalf, I don't know. I would rather see the Steelers, and maybe it's a hard thing for them to do, to just open up and be like, yeah, we're going to have a bad 2 years. But I feel like if I were a Steelers fan, I would rather see them trade away those assets. TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, not traded for DK Metcalf, not brought in Aaron Rodgers. Like, I'd rather see them trade away. Maybe that's the plan at the end of this season, but I'd rather see them bolster up in the draft, have 2 years of great drafting, and now put together a 53-man roster that can actually beat the Ravens on a consistent basis. And, like, can walk into Baltimore in January and beat them, or walk into Buffalo, or walk into Kansas City, or now at this point, with the way they're looking, walk into New England and beat the Patriots, right? Like, I think the Steelers are just this team that they're all right. Like, they're there. They're relevant, but they're not someone that you fear. They're not the Steelers teams that you and I grew up with. And that was like sustained success. Every year they were going to put out a top 5 defense. They were going to have great receivers to throw to. They were going to have a great line. And, they were a threat to get into the Super Bowl and win. And I just feel like this team, like, we don't really take these guys serious. September, October, they look good. Down the stretch, they hit a lull. They'll win some games in December. And then they're in the playoffs. And then they're out. So I'd rather see them tear it down almost to the studs and rebuild. And I think more teams should be doing that. They try to polish a turd and put lipstick on a pig. And it's just like,
but what's the point in tearing it down? Just draft studs, because that's what their problem is. They haven't drafted all pro players since
because you could accelerate a rebuild with more draft capital, more younger players. I think you're better off long term having, if last year they had traded TJ Watt for a first, a third, and a fourth or something, or a first and a second, and then a swap of day 3 picks, you'd be in a much better spot today than you would be without. Like, as great as TJ Watt is, this team is not good enough to win a Super Bowl. And if you keep drafting where you're drafting, you're not going to get to the point where you're going to put yourself in a position to be in a Super Bowl. Like, you just won't. How did all of these not dynasties, but like all of these teams that had sustained success, the New England Patriots, as we were kids, right? How did the New England Patriots do it? They kept trading off good players before they were up for contract. They acquired draft capital, and then they replaced those players in the draft. And that's how, now, obviously, they had Tom Brady, right? Like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. That's how they were able to do that. But they were able to sustain the success by trading guys, acquiring picks, replacing that talent. Because this isn't baseball. You can't just run up a $500-600 million payroll. You can't do that. You need to stay within the parameters of the cap. So that's the only way you do it. That's how you build through the draft. You build by having more darts to throw at the dartboard than the next guy. And especially in those first 2 days. Not so much
the only way to get those extra darts is not by trading away good players. The only way to get extra darts is by hitting on players over and over again and then being able to replace good players with players that you've drafted. Because if you can do that, then you get compensatory picks. And the best teams have extra third, fourth, and fifth round picks. So unless you could draft well, you really can't.
But did New England was New England not the team that traded Richard Seymour for what, a second round pick?
They would trade them a year early, but they weren't trading players that were going to be great.
Chandler Jones was a pretty damn good Patriot, and he was traded.
Trade him though. He was insane.
I'm just saying they were able to sustain this by acquiring those day two, those second and third rounders, where they would fill out the depth of their roster, where they would take a left guard from Iowa and develop him for 2 years, and all of a sudden that's your starting left guard, and you're getting him at $600,000 a year, and then you're going to re-sign him at $2 million a season. Like that's how those teams were able to continue to win in this league and continue to stay at the top. That's how you could go out and trade for a Randy Moss, and it doesn't affect you because everybody else is under a low contract. Because you've done so well.
That trade doesn't exist, though. I don't know. I think that when you decimate your team, you can fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And teams take these risks, like the Jets. They're going to trade all their fucking players, and they're going to be horrible. And then they're going to still have the fucking problem. So it's like, did you get better? No, now you got worse, and your coach is still there. So with the Steelers, like, I think that they need a really, really good safety. They need an Earl Thomas type of player in the back end of that team so that can really sweep up all the mistakes made over the top. Because that's where they're really vulnerable for the entire season. I would try to make a trade. If I'm the Steelers, I would try to make a trade for a safety. That's a really good safety. And I would try to go all in because I just feel like... I
guess this is the year to do it.
Yeah, I just feel like, what are they going to do? Like, you're going to rebuild, and then what? Tomlin's probably not going to stick around for that. It just seems like there's a tipping point for them and a lot of teams. Like, in order to win the AFC, like, Mahomes has to get hurt, and Allen's got to be hurt. So, like, you got to hope for injury, and you got to hope for your team to just be playing hot at an elite level. And sometimes you just look, man. How long have we been alive? How long have we watched football? 25 years. We've watched Super Bowls for. I mean, it's been pretty much like the Patriots won 7 or 6 of them. Brady won 7. He was at 12.
Tampa.
Was he at 11? He was 7 for 11. Brady. So that's half of the Super Bowls, and then you had the other half was a combination of Roethlisberger and Peyton Manning. Like, nobody really... It's not like you go to the Super Bowl unless you have some superstar player. So the Steelers don't have that guy. Mahomes is now the guy.
I would say T.J. Watt is a superstar. I would classify
It's just hard to say. Just because I'm not going to win the Super Bowl, do I tear it down? I think the Yankees should, because the Yankees have been doing this for a long time, and they've been paying a lot of money, and it's not working. The Steelers are working with the same money everybody else is working with, and they just don't have the quarterback.
Yeah.
They got to find the quarterback, and they kind of found them.
Well, this could be a last. I think this is a last ditch effort. I think it's. I think it's one more shot. I just think you're in purgatory, and you're just not. Even if you're taking that shot, which at this point, if you're in a position to take the shot, take the shot. But you're just kicking that can down the road even further when you trade away more draft capital to acquire a free safety at the deadline. And all for what? To still lose to Josh Allen, to still lose to the Kansas City Chiefs? I don't know. But we got to move on. We're 20 minutes in here, and we have not mentioned the mess that is the Tennessee Titans since firing Mike Vrabel. I think they're on their second or third general manager. They're on their third or fourth head coach. They're a disaster. Mike Vrabel is the guy that brought any sense of consistency to this organization that they hadn't had since, I guess, Jeff Fisher. You could say a lot of things about Jeff Fisher, but the guy was. I mean, he was a consistent 9-7, 7-9 head coach, but Mike Vrabel was the best thing they ever had, and they thought they overplayed their hand. They thought they could do better. They clearly couldn't. And now New England walks into Tennessee this weekend.
Yeah, they might lose. Only just because it's that new quarterback, new coach, and sometimes teams just play well for a new coach. But yeah, Mike Vrabel wanted more power, and the Titans should have listened to him because when the Robinson traded away his players, like you should be able to win with mediocre talent. Like a good coach should go to the playoffs with a decent team. Doesn't have to have a good team, just a decent team. But when you get rid of the best players on that team, it's harder to win. And I think Mike Vrabel deservedly should have gotten more control and should have had more roster control there. They said no, and they parted ways. But you can't. You need a top 10 coach. If you don't have a top 10 coach, you're not going to make the playoffs consistently. Like you make the playoffs once, maybe you make the playoffs twice with a good roster. You're not going back. Go look at the top 10 coaches in the league. It's Andy Reid goes to the Super Bowl every single year. You have Sean McVay goes to the playoffs every single year. You have
Sean McDermott in Buffalo.
Sean McDermott.
You got to give him credit.
Sean Payton, I'll give more credit to because he's done it for a decade, almost more than a decade. Going to the playoffs with two teams, finds the quarterbacks, he goes and he's there.
Kevin O'Connell,
Tomlin, they go.
Dan Campbell,
Jim Harbaugh, Dan Campbell's now becoming one of those guys. Kyle Shanahan, dude, every year, no matter who the fucking quarterback is, you have to put the entire
took Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy to multiple Super Bowls.
Mac Jones is looking like a decent quarterback with him. Nick Sirianni, the guy's got a talented team, but they win every week. And then I guess Kevin Stefanski is one of those guys where like, if he's a guy that if he leaves the Browns, I think he's the only coach right now that I would like give the benefit of the doubt to, saying he's a guy that could be in that realm of top 10 coaches.
Stefanski.
And Vrabel's right there. So
yeah.
The Patriots have the young quarterback, and what did they do? They said, "Fuck it, we're gonna go get a coach." The Jets, they met with Mike McCarthy, who's one of these 10 to 15 coaches that is going to go to the playoffs. Guy goes to the playoffs every year, wins 10 games minimum every year.
He does
everywhere he goes. Obviously, he's a very good game planner. And he's able to maximize his talent on the team. They interviewed him, and they said, no, we're going to go with some random dude that doesn't know offense. Just a cardinal sin. The Titans did the same shit. They went with a random dude that just was a play caller for an elite offense. Jamar Chase.
Oh, boy. That's that reliable computer that Pacino's got. There's a lot of great head coaching. We're going to pull up the Sunday slate here until Pacino gets back. We're going to go through the games. As we were just talking about, Patriots are going to Tennessee. Tennessee's fresh off firing their head coach. The Patriots are 6.5-point favorites in Tennessee. Mike Vrabel's return. I want to say there was a stat that came out, I think pre-COVID. Teams that fire their head coach usually win like 70, 71% or something that next week. So that's the only thing on Tennessee's side here. Outside of that, I don't really see a world where Tennessee wins. I mean, they could win, but I think Vrabel's been here before. He knows the deal. Playing a team that just fired their head coach. I think the Patriots can be coming out firing on all cylinders. Drake May's going to be slinging the rock, so I would feel very comfortable taking the Patriots probably in the points there. If you could bet on a Cam Ward interception, probably not a bad idea either. Christian Gonzalez is obviously back past couple of weeks. He's looked good. Saints at Chicago. Saints looked a little better last week. They still ultimately lost, but they kept it relatively respectable against a very good Patriots team. Given that was in the Dome, now they'll be traveling up to Chicago. The weather for this game looks like we have no wind, and then I don't know if we're getting rain or not. I know earlier in the week they were saying rain. This is a game the Bears should win. They're 3.5 points for a favorite. You get 1.5 point just for being the home team. So that's basically like saying on a neutral field, they're 2.5 points better than the Saints. You could even argue maybe the Bears are more than that. So I think I like the Bears in this game. I think the Bears get to 4-2 here. Going into the Sunday slate. Dolphins at Browns. Not a very interesting game. I think this is a game the Browns could win. Both teams 1-5. The Dolphins are a disaster, but I think the Browns offense is a disaster too. But I think that Browns offense the Browns defense is so damn good that I think the Browns could win this game, probably scoring like 15 points. I think the Dolphins are that bad. Facino, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I don't know what to do because my computer just can't handle. I turned the brightness down on my screens. Hopefully that helps. It just can't handle the stream. It's too powerful. Drawing too much energy here. I think I love the Browns, dude. I hope Shador plays next week. But I
think you're going to get it sooner rather than later because Dylan Gabriel's looked bad. So I think we're all going to see it.
And Njoku's not playing. So that I think is interesting because I think they could trade him.
Yeah, they could.
That's what I think.
They could. They already traded Newsom. Panthers are at the Jets. Panthers are -1.5 here. Is this the first Jets win of the season?
No, the Jets aren't winning.
So. Yeah. The
Jets can't win. You can't win with them.
Even more interesting game. Let's get into this.
Wait,
Eagles.
The Panthers are an interesting team though because the Panthers are playing decent football. They blew the doors off the Falcons. They just beat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Their running back is awesome. Rico Dowdle always had great vision. I don't know how the Cowboys just let him go. I thought that was so dumb. And he's just carrying the Panthers to some series wins. So we'll see what they can squeak into the playoffs. The NFC South is a shitty division.
So Tampa is a very good team. So
yeah, but
they're
it's
not
not
going
they're winning convincingly. Like you can go into Tampa and beat them. You just gotta catch
right now Tampa's banged up, and
yeah,
we'll get into that when we get to the Monday night game. Let's get into this though. Eagles are going up to Minnesota. Eagles just dropped 2 games in a matter of like 4 days. They're going up to Minnesota. They're the favorites. Carson Wentz is going to stay in at quarterback. I guess they're saying McCarthy's not ready yet. Do you think the Eagles should be favored by 2.5 here? Do you think anything of the past two games they've lost?
No. Who are they playing again?
They're in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's a get-right game for the Eagles. I think Minnesota is one of those teams that's going to really stumble, and deservedly so. They're going to stumble down the stretch. They're not good. They got rid of a quarterback they shouldn't have got rid of last year for a no-name, unproven player. It's a cardinal sin in my opinion. You don't keep random guys with low ceilings when you have the player there. But yeah, I think the Eagles can get right here. I do. It's hard to win every game. It's hard to play your best football every week. So
Yes.
it happens.
Yes. I also think the Eagles are going to win. However, Brian Flores, in my opinion, and I'm not alone on this, I think Brian Flores is probably the best defensive coordinator in football. There's nobody that dials up the heat better than Brian Flores. And the Eagles are still a great team, but there's clearly some locker room issues. There's some issues on that sideline between the coaching staff and those players. There's clearly a disconnect between Jalen Hurts, Saquon, and the receiving group. Guys are bitching. Guys are being, whether you want to call them being divas, that's not for me to. I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm not really going to get much into that. But guys are complaining. They're not getting the ball. They've lost 2 in a row. If there's anything that a guy like Brian Flores can capitalize on, it's that. And if there's anything that Jalen Hurts has struggled with this year, it's throwing the football. The guy runs the ball, runs like a horse. Saquon, I don't care what the numbers say. I think Saquon is still an elite running back. He's still a threat out of the backfield. He's a threat to catch the ball. But it's gonna be tough sledding for this Eagles team. I once again, I think they'll win. I don't think they're gonna come into Minnesota and blow them out. I don't think this is gonna be a super high scoring game. I think Flores is going to dial up the heat. I think he's going to get Jalen Hurts to turn the ball over. And I think if they could get the Eagles to turn the ball over more than once, I think they could win this game. Because I think the margin for error in a game like this is that small. I think that Carson Wentz can run this offense efficiently enough that he could keep the Vikings in the game. And I just think if this Eagles offense just really can't afford, especially the way that the Eagles defense has taken a bit of a step back the past couple of weeks. We saw it against the Broncos. That was their first loss. And then against the Giants, they just came in like a wounded animal and got slaughtered by a bad Giants offense. Let's call it what it is. So I think if Jalen Hurts commits, if the Eagles offense commits more than a turnover in this game, the Vikings are winning. Mm-hmm. Are you freezing up, or you're just?
That's fair. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I heard you though. So, what's the next game on the slate?
Next game we got Raiders Chiefs. Not much here. I think Chiefs just beat the shit out of them. Yeah.
There's another team hired the wrong coach, wrong coaching staff. Chip Kelly shouldn't be an NFL coach after what happened with the Eagles. He doesn't deserve it. And they gave him this weird contract where he's going to take over for Pete Carroll. It's not happening. They're getting fired. They should be fired after this year. They should be fired, and there should be a new coach that's going to go in there and pick a quarterback in the first round. That should be the Raiders' path here. They drafted a quarterback in the first round.
They kind of hitched their wagon to Geno for a little while here. I think it's. What is it? It's a 2-year, 3-year deal. So it looks like they're going to get one more crack
contract. No, the Geno contract is. Let me see. I think it's a. It was a dummy 3-year deal, but next year they can get rid of him easily. So, and that's what they'll have to do. I mean, they tried. He's going to be 36. You got to be a really fucking good quarterback to be able to play at a high level at 36 years old. So he's not that player. So they're going to move on. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to have to get a quarterback. And they got a lot of young weapons. So if they can get an athletic QB to run around and get a little bit better on the offensive line, bring a real fucking head coach in and a real play caller, they could win games. I thought they were going to win games this year. But you know what? It's all coaching this league. So it's how the cookie crumbles. The Chiefs should absolutely pants them on fucking live TV tomorrow.
Chiefs are very much back. It sucked losing to them last week. I think, as mad as I am with how that game was officiated, and it was ugly, at the end of the day, the Lions had opportunities to beat this team. They didn't capitalize on every opportunity. It does it does suck when you score a touchdown and then everyone stands on the field for 90 seconds and then they say, oh no, that's actually not a touchdown. Quarterback never got under center. The way it's been explained to us is different than the way it was explained to Dan Campbell. Yeah. Good on Dan Campbell for talking to the radio the next day and just telling them exactly what the refs told him in the game, which the NFL contradicted when they made an announcement the next day. It's a really bad look for the NFL. It's a really bad look for officials.
It's clearly they're doing something with the Chiefs, which is really not a good look for the league. They fucking help them.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And that's why I think, if that guy runs, you blow him up. That's what you do. Because the only way the Chiefs are not going to get those calls is if Mahomes isn't playing in the game.
Yeah.
See, it's football. They got a player that's clearly helping them win more than anybody. If he's going to run with the football, you got to blow him up. You got to make him think twice. You got to break his ribs, and maybe he's not going to play next week. That's the only way to beat those types of teams. And this is a hard when you go and you watch, because people, it's gotten very friendly the way people talk about football. From when I was 6 years old, sometimes you need to fucking really lay a lick on a guy to try to win because he's a superior player. So when you watch the UFC on Saturday night, you're allowed to root for a guy to literally pound a dude's brain in and maim him. But in the NFL, you're not allowed to fucking hit a quarterback hard. Dude, every time somebody gets hit, you don't have to try to break their ankle or try to roll up on their knee.
It's about making them think twice the next time they leave the line of scrimmage.
Think twice, have to take a play off, I'm surprised when Peyton Manning and Eli Manning went on and Favre, when they went on those streaks of playing every game. Eli Manning and Peyton Manning specifically, it's because they tried not to get hit. With Mahomes and Josh Allen, they're not trying not to get hit. So you have to lay them out. That is the secret. What's the key to the game? Lay out the quarterback because he's going to rip you to shreds if you don't. So
you're better off taking that 15-yard
penalty to the Chiefs, and the only
take the 15-yard penalty in the first quarter. Let him score on that first drive, but blow him up. Blow him up. Make a guy think twice before he sits in the pocket for an extra half second. Make a guy think twice before he leaves that line of scrimmage to scramble for a 15-yard gain. I have no,
you know what the refs are going to do? They're going to call the fucking flag anyway.
Flag.
Even if you didn't blow him up.
Whether you legally hit him or you didn't. So, you're better off wind up, get your free shot at him, blow him up, and make him think twice. And I agree with that. I would rather see you take your penalty early in the game and be in that quarterback's head for the next, 48 minutes, as opposed to, watching the tiptoe around hating a guy. And shame on Brian Branch. Do I think Juju's a little bitch? Yeah. Do I think Pat Mahomes is a little bitch flipping that ball in Brian's face? And but you know what, Brian? You're a professional. All eyes are on you. Same thing we said
suspension, though? What the fuck?
Absolutely. If I'm the NFL, I'm suspending him because
I don't know about that.
He's gotten penalties before. He has defied the rules before. He is a guy that every week is a personal foul. I mean, if you're running a business, this is a guy that has spit in the face of your rules. I get it. I understand. I hate to see that he got a suspension, but for me, I saw it coming. I watched Ndamukong Suh for a long time here in Detroit. I know the way this league operates. Okay, if you're not one of the golden boys, right? Pat Mahomes. Before Pat Mahomes, it was Aaron Rodgers. Before Aaron Rodgers, it was Tom Brady. If you're not a fucking golden boy, yeah, the league is going to come down hard on you. I mean, he dragged Juju out like a rag doll and beat the shit out of him on live TV in a standalone game. Yeah, if I'm the NFL, I'm probably suspending him too. And you know, he let this team down, right? Like Kirby Joseph's hurt. He's playing hurt. Okay, we are down to one cornerback left that we started the season with. We started the season with 6 cornerbacks. We are down to one guy left. They literally just signed. Oh my God, Kendall. What the fuck is his name? His brother, Kendall Fuller. His brother Corey was a wide receiver on the Lions like 10 years ago. Okay, Kendall Fuller, who hasn't really played corner in like 3 years, is now going to be playing corner for the Lions against the Buccaneers on Monday night because there's no one left. And why is there no one left? Because everyone got hurt. And now what you did was you compounded that by beating the shit out of a guy on national TV. And now you can't play on Monday night against an MVP candidate in Baker Mayfield. So you know what? Is it a soft suspension? You could call it that. Is it bullshit? You could call it that. But you know what? The league is bullshit.
Yeah, you
and
can't
we all
touch
know
the
this.
Chiefs. You'll pay.
Yes.
If he fucking beat up Brian Thomas, they would have fined him $50,000.
No, I think the fact that it was Sunday Night Football, it doesn't matter. You know the situation that you're in. You know that we cannot afford to lose you for a game, and you did this. And I think Brian, at this point, it's been played out. He knows that. He knows what he did was wrong. It's a shame that we don't live in a world where guys can't settle things like that, because I do think that a lot of people, and this isn't just a football thing, this is like a societal thing. I think a lot of people sound off and they talk shit because they know if you hit them, it's assault.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you in my workplace, right?
So
I'm in
stupid,
construction,
man.
and a lot of these scumbags I work with, they'll fucking sound off on you because they know if you swing at them, you're getting fired, and they're coming after you personally, and they're going to sue you. And it's,
They're
I
acting like women.
think society would be a better place if people were scared to get punched in the mouth. I really do. I think people would
100%.
watch what they say, and unfortunately, we live in a world where a guy like Juju could be an instigator all day, not get called for it, and then in the end say some dirty shit to Brian Branch, and he gets his fate. Now, like in an ideal world, what Brian Branch did was justified, but that's not the world we live in. Brian knows that, and that's why I'm disappointed with him. But he's the second best, maybe the best player on this defense, and we need him going forward. So, hopefully the Lions can overcome that Monday night. But let's keep going with the Sunday slate here. You got Giants at Broncos. The Giants are riding high after that Eagles win. I do think that comes to an end in Denver. I think Denver beats them. I don't think Denver beats them by the spread. That spread 7.5. I don't like that, but I think Denver beats the Giants here.
What time's the game?
That is a 4:05 game in
4:05?
Denver.
Yeah, I think Denver's just going to mop them.
Yeah, I think
The
so
Giants
too.
are completely in over their head. They played a good game. It's like people forget the week before they lost to the Saints. Like, I think the Giants they're all over the place. They're volatile, and Denver is a mains that I think Denver is more level-headed and
Yes,
just
and I think they have the
gonna
better
get
coaching behind them. Sean Payton, I'll take any day of the week over Brian
The
Dable.
Eagles were decimated up front as well.
Yes.
So.
Colts are going to the Chargers. I'm taking the Colts here. Do I think the Colts are this great team? No, but they're 4-1. They're 4-2. They're 4-2. I think the Chargers are banged up. I think the Colts are healthy. Their offensive line's blocking. Daniel Jones isn't turning the ball over. I think the Colts are going to come away and win this game.
I think that the Chargers were losing these games because of the pass rush. I don't think the Colts necessarily have like a great pass rush. So, I don't know.
You take the Chargers here?
I think the Chargers are going to win.
I I think the Chargers have the better coaching staff. I think they've got the better quarterback without a doubt.
The Colts got to go to the West Coast, and I just think that Daniel Jones has been good, but he's not this good. He's due for a few.
But he's not turning the ball over. I mean, if you have to give him anything, he's not fumbling. He's not throwing picks. He's not running all over the. He's not running like a chicken without his head. He honestly he's been running this offense really well. Like I don't like Daniel Jones. I want to sit here, and a lot of our audience is Giants fans, and I'd like to poke holes in Daniel Jones' game, but I truly can't. I mean, the guy's doing everything he's. Do I think it's going to transcend into January? No, by no means do I believe that. Is that your cat, dude? What is that? Is that the cat?
Oh. My screen's like moving.
Okay.
No, it's not my cat.
Okay.
My fucking desk that's wobbly.
All right.
It should be
Commanders
my cat.
at Cowboys are 425.
Who? Commanders and who?
Commanders at Cowboys. Cowboys are 1.5-point favorites.
Be a nice. I don't know. That's an interesting game. The Commanders blew it last week.
Uh-huh.
The Cowboys blew it as well.
Yeah. Cowboys are scoring points. Their defense sucks, but they're scoring points. Like another guy, I don't like Dak Prescott. I don't like Dak Prescott at all, but he's an MVP candidate. Like you can't at this point can't deny it.
Yeah, and Pickens is a top 10 receiver in this league. He just needed a quarterback, and that's what I love about Pickens, man. Speak up. Last year, Justin Fields is garbage. He went into Tomlin's office and said, "You are not fucking letting that guy play another game while I'm on this team. I will ask out. I will get the fuck out of here right now if you play Justin Fields over Russell Wilson." And that was the right move. Were the Steelers good? Did they win anything? Not really. But Justin Fields sucks. Pickens knows he doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play losing football. If George Pickens was on the Jets, he would not be suiting up tomorrow. He would tell the coach, "Look, trade me. I'm not playing for 0-16." I like that, dude. I wish there was a guy on a shitty team like the Jets to go up to the coach and say, "Get me the fuck out of here. This is a joke. You're a joke. You don't know how to fucking game plan. My team sucks. I want to go play for a winner. I'm not playing in this league for long. I need to go win." Where's the one guy? The team sucks. I want a guy to go fucking, 4
Sauce Gardner?
there. He got paid.
Maybe he wants to come to Detroit.
I think Breece Hall's the guy. Breece Hall. If I'm Breece Hall, there is no way I'm suiting up for the Jets on Sunday. I'm saying, you get me out of here. I'm done with this fucking organization. The fans hate me. The fucking coaching staff won't even throw me a fucking ball all game. They gave me Justin Fields after Zach Wilson. It didn't work. And I need to get the fuck out of here because I'm a running back and my career is only going to be 6 seasons long. I got one shot at a contract. I need these next 10 weeks. I can't play for this team anymore. I'm dead serious. Running backs...
We were talking about the Cowboys and you brought it back to Breece Hall.
Well, it is what it is.
You think Cowboys are beating the Commanders on Sunday?
No, I think the Commanders are going to win. I think Jaden Daniels is starting to get healthy, and I think he's ready.
I think I'll be rooting for the Cowboys because I don't think the Cowboys are getting it done down the stretch. And, ultimately, I need the Lions to win the North, but whatever. Lions' destiny is in their hands. Packers go to Arizona. The Packers, I think the Packers should win this game. They're better than Arizona. Kyler Murray's not playing. It's going to be Jacoby Brissett. The only thing I'll say about the Packers, they did not look super convincing in that win over the Bengals. 27-18 doesn't sound super close because it wasn't. That's not the way of saying it. 27-18 is not a close game, but the Bengals kept that a respectable game much longer than the Packers should have allowed it. That game was in Green Bay. The Packers were coming off the bye week. They should have run away from it with this game pretty early in the second half, and they didn't. I mean, the Bengals had a chance. They scored 11 points in the fourth quarter. Packers just happened to score more, 17. I'm not totally convinced by the Packers. Everybody had them week one Super Bowl winners. I'm as a Lions fan, I'm kind of licking my chops to have them again on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I hope. I believe we'll definitely have DJ Reed back by then. I don't know if we'll have Terrion Arnold. I hope so. This Packers team is good, but I think that they're overrated.
They're very overrated. They can lose to anybody, the Packers. Literally. And they probably will lose some more games. I think Jordan Love's an overrated player.
I think he's severely overrated. I
he
think
has accuracy issues.
he shows flashes of brilliance where he looks really good, and I give him that credit. But he's got these bonehead throws that he's still throwing. I mean, what, 7 years into his NFL career here, whatever it is, 6 years.
Yep.
He doesn't convince me. I don't think just the Micah Parsons addition alone is enough. And, once again, if you're the Packers here, like, you sold your soul to bring in Micah Parsons. You gave up 2 first-round picks and a massive contract to this guy. If you're the Packers, just making the playoffs is not good enough. I mean, obviously, right? I mean, if you're the Lions, just making the playoffs is good enough. But, you need to win the North. And this is a game you need to win. I think they're going to win this game. Like I said, they're playing against Jacoby Brissett. But I would be shocked if this was an upset. This is a 425 game. The money line here is that is weird, though. It's a 7.5-point spread. I guess because the Cardinals are home. The Cardinals are only plus 290 on the money line. That's kind of odd. That's weird. That makes me want to take the money line. But I'll get into that on my own time. Falcons at Niners are the Sunday night game. I believe Mac Jones is going to start this game. I like the Falcons here. I mean, I don't know. The Niners have had a couple bad weeks.
Yeah, I like the Falcons too, man. The Falcons are starting to put it together.
I think I like the Falcons. I haven't. Michael Penix, not the best season so far. He's over 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns to 3 picks.
Just hasn't been. Look, he could have more touchdowns than he has. It's just one of those things where the running backs are getting the touchdowns and they're scoring enough to win.
Oh, brother, Bijan's unbelievable. He's everything we thought he'd be, right?
He's awesome. He's the best. It's a shame our teams couldn't get him, but you got Gibbs. So.
Well, yeah, the Lions had a chance and they elected to get Gibbs, and I can't complain with that.
No.
So the Lions are playing the Bucs. I'm furious. I got switched to nights on Thursday of this week. And they're like, yeah, all next week we're coming in at night too. So I have a 9 o'clock start on Monday. I'm going to have to watch the game from my car in the parking lot at my job. Don't know what I'm going to do here because I'm not going to miss the Lions game, but, got to keep food on the table. Lions are 5.5-point favorites here. I don't love that. The Buccaneers are pretty decimated. It looks like Bucky Irving's not going to play.
No.
Rashid White's going to get the start at running back. Baker's been phenomenal. I mean, Jared Goff's been pretty damn good, but Baker's been phenomenal. But as you said, they've won every game by a very small margin. I mean, the Jets took them down to end of the fourth quarter with 3 seconds left.
Yeah.
They have not won these games convincingly.
Well, that was the only game they really beat the shit out of a team. They just let them back in the game.
Yeah. Well, no, last week
gentleman's move by Bulls.
Last week they beat the Niners pretty good. They got into a little gunslinging match in Seattle. Won that game very narrowly, 38-35. I think Seattle's a little better than we all thought. But Lions need to win this game. You're coming off a loss here to the Chiefs, and I think the Lions are going to come out firing on all cylinders. Now, just like the Bucs are dealing with Mike Evans out, I think Godwin is out. Oh no, Mike Evans is going to play.
Yes, it's more likely that Evans plays with Ibuka.
Okay, Ibuka is probably not going to play. Godwin is out. Fucking Evans is going to play. That's going to kill us. The Lions have nobody left in the secondary other than Kirby Joseph, and he's hobbling out there. He's playing at like 50% health. So this Lions bye week can't come at a better time. I don't care about covering the spread here. The Lions just need to win this game. If you could win this game and walk into the bye week at 5-2, getting Brian Branch back the following week with
You're in great shape.
Yeah, then I think they're in better shape. They should be getting DJ Reed back from injury after the bye week. And ultimately, Tenny Lions fan, I mean, if you would know a season after losing your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, and 5 other coaches on your staff, or 6 other coaches on your staff, that you'd be 5-2 at the bye, I think we'd all be very happy. But the Lions need to get there. There's a significant difference between being 5-2 and 4-3, especially when you're looking at a team like the Bears, who are probably going to be 4-2 after this week, and the Packers, who are probably going to be 4-1 after this week. So you need to beat the Bucs here. You need to capitalize on the Bucs being hurt. As much as we're hurt too, the offense is still healthy. If you have to get into a shooting match with, in a track meet with Baker Mayfield, then do it. This offense, knock on wood, is all right. It looks like we may be getting Taylor Decker back, which is huge, because the Lions have had to kind of put duct tape around the left tackle position over the past 2 weeks. So that'll be really big. But come out and win this game.
Yep. That's it. Just win. I think they can. Although last time I watched the Bucs and the Lions at your place, they lost.
They lost. Yeah.
So you never know.
Too.
They should win though. Monday night, get an extra day to prepare. I think they'll win.
Texans play the Seahawks in Seattle. I think the Seahawks win this game. I think the Seahawks are a really good team. I think the Texans are not a very good team.
One thing is that if you pressure Darnold, he's susceptible. But I don't know. I think the Seahawks are just.
I don't know how much defense the Texans have to do that, really.
They're coming off a bye.
Ooh, the Texans?
That's the one thing. I mean, I still think the Seahawks will win. I do.
Yeah.
So.
I think so, too. Do you have anything else here? I know it's 5:37.
No, I don't. No, I think that at the end of the day, this is a very interesting week. It's like a teetering week.
Oh boy, we lost Racino again. I don't want to finish his sentence, but yes, a teetering week, as in we're really starting to figure out what all these teams are, who's good, who's here to stay, who's not, who's got some flaws, who's got some kinks in the armor. I think we saw that with the Steelers on Thursday night. We saw some life left in that Cincinnati team. So there is a lot to learn for this week. But that's what we've got here. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And we will see you all next Saturday. So enjoy the slate of games tomorrow. And let's go Lions. Let's go Jets. Let's go Giants. Whoever else is represented.